If you're thinking about moving to Woodland, Washington, that little city only 20 minutes away from downtown Vancouver, here in Southwest Washington, then you will want to stay tuned, because in this video, I'm going to let you know everything that you will need to know regarding the town of Woodland, its housing, shopping, activities, and things to do. So stay tuned, because I'm going to get started right now. Thanks for tuning into my channel. I'm Shastine, and I'm a local real estate agent here in Southwest Washington. And today we're going to be talking about the City of Woodland, Washington. And believe it or not, the City of Woodland, Washington, even though it is north about 20 miles from Vancouver, Washington, it really is only 22 minutes from downtown Vancouver. So it's not that far at all. However, it will offer such a variety of both a country feel and a little bit of a suburban feel, if you know, depending on what you actually want in the way that you live. And so today I figured I'm going to start off showing you first and foremost what the area of Woodland looks like from a 20-foot view looking down. And so we're going to be looking at a Google map, but then I'm going to actually be showing you what the actual streets look like, some of the little communities and what they look like, so that the goal of this full video, as we get all the way through it, you're going to be able to have a full understanding of the City of Woodland and the area of Woodland, what it has to offer, its activities, some things you're going to need to know, and more importantly, its housing. So let's get started, shall we? Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you to the map. And first we're going to start off just kind of explaining the area of Woodland as a whole. First and foremost, Woodland is the zip code of 98674. And why am I telling you that? I'm telling you that because Woodland, when you put in 98674, you will see this full map here. That is the full area of Woodland. The actual city of Woodland is the smaller area right here. Now, just so that you know, within the city, there is parts that are still considered Clark County, and the rest and remaining of that is considered Cowlitz County. And so this is the actual city of Woodland, but the whole area that makes up Woodland is this whole area right here. Now, the difference in that, when you're looking at stats and population, the population for Woodland as a whole is 14,869 people. However, if you go back to that little city, that city population is only around 6,500 people. So you can see that there is some congestion right here now, right there, and we're going to talk about that when it comes to the actual housing, because just a little snippet here, a lot of the suburban very condensed communities are within the city. What you're going to find outside of the city is more of those homes that have acreage, that are more wooded and more secluded. And that's what's really nice about Woodland, is because it really offers both. If you kind of want to feel like you want to get away from the city, a lot of people are relocating from Vancouver, Washington, up north to Woodland, Washington. And so this is the natural place that they're going. And some things to know about it is it's still really good commuting times getting to other locations. If you still need to, for instance, if you need to go to that Portland International Airport, the Portland International Airport is going to be around a 45 to 55 minute drive. If you're going to, for instance, Camas, if you happen to work in Camas is going to be about a 40-minute drive for you, because you're going to need to go down I-5 through 205, take Highway 14 and connect it into the Camas area. But other than that, if you're going to downtown Vancouver to maybe enjoy dinner on the waterfront or some of the other beautiful activities that are down there, you're only about a 22-minute drive. And so you're still really close to everything, even though you're out in Woodland and you have more of that rural feel. Let's talk about all things Woodland, what takes place in Woodland as far as their events, shopping, what you're going to find there. And let's just start with the events, shall we? Woodland actually keeps a great community feel by bringing in certain activities throughout the year that really brings people out of their homes and together. And they starts right out the gate in the spring. They'll have the Lilac Gardens event. In the summertime, they'll have the hot summer night and movies in the park at Horseshoe Lake. They have the yearly Planners Day event, and of course they have the Woodland Motocross Park, which is just outside of the town of Woodland. And great, it's always fun to watch the motocross races. A little loud, but it is a lot of fun. Now, as far as shopping, some things you need to know regarding Woodland is shopping still, you're in the state of Washington, so you have a 7.9% sales tax that you're going to be paying on non-perishable items. So you won't be paying the 7.9% on your groceries, but you will be paying that sales tax when it comes to clothing, appliances and things like that. A lot of us go across the river to Oregon if we're going to buy major appliances. But still, even though you're paying that 7.9%, just so that you know, ladies, there is no clothing stores in Woodland. Well, unless you want to shop at, of course, at Walmart. They do have clothing there, but sometimes it's not always a great selection, and maybe you just want a little bit more variety of clothing. And so, unfortunately, in Woodland, there aren't any real clothing stores for you to shop. So you will need to commute down into, towards downtown Vancouver, or even into Portland to have more of a variety for your clothing stores. Also, there are two major grocery stores in Woodland, which is the Walmart grocery store, of course. All things Walmart. They have clothing and they have food, and then of course they have Safeway. So those are your two major grocery stores that you have in Woodland, Washington, and they have a variety of little local restaurants as well as a few chains, of course. My favorite local one is Los Pepes. I absolutely love them. They have the best salsa, and so I really enjoy Los Pepes. And of course, because we live in the Northwest, we always have to have our coffee shops. So you will find some coffee shops there as well, to warm your hands on those cloudy, kind of chillier days that we seem to have here. The next thing you need to know about is the schools. Now, in Woodland, Washington, we have 3 elementary schools, which is the Columbia Elementary, North Fork, and Yale. And there is Woodland Middle School, and there is Woodland High School. They have a charter, and I think they have another one as well. But as far as public schools, because I'm just keeping with the public schools, those are the public schools for Woodland. And according to niche.com, they have an average grading of a B. So not too bad. It means that your kids they're not in too many kids per teacher ratio as of yet, because they have that great B average. So the schools are really good as well. The other thing that we need to talk about, we need to talk about the housing. Let's talk about my favorite thing as a realtor. That will be the housing. Now, some general things that you're going to want to know is, first and foremost, the median household income is around $74,000, with the median home value being around $532,000. Now, the average sales price so far as of 2023 is actually around $477,000, which makes it pretty affordable when you compare it to some of the other communities that I've covered within my channel within the Vancouver, Washington area. And so Woodland is still very, very affordable. And of course, it's 52% of the population in Woodland are actual homeowners. That means that the rest of them are not. And so if you're going to be renting, for instance, the rentals are going to be around $2,100 a month if you were looking to rent in Woodland, Washington. Now, just so you know, homes are more spread out in Woodland, so you're going to have more homes on acreage than there are that typical suburban feel neighborhoods. We do have the suburban neighborhoods, standard suburban neighborhoods, where they're high density. You'll have communities of 25, 50 sometimes 75, still intermixing the different age groups, but you will have those type of communities, but you're going to find them within the city of Woodland. And so they're going to be both on the east side and on the west side of I-5. And so here are just some of the main neighborhoods that I want to highlight to you that you're going to find in Woodland. Now, obviously, I can't really go into, and it wouldn't really make much sense to go into homes that are on acreage just because of how vast they are, but vast as far as the span they are. But I do want to cover just some of the main neighborhoods that I want to make sure to highlight to you. So I want to be sure to go to the map here and show you that. Let's talk about those condensed suburban feel communities, shall we? And in looking at the map, I just want you to know that there are only certain pockets of those type of subdivisions on the east side and on the west side, and they're always going to be within, majority of them are going to be in the city of Woodland. And so the first one that I'm showing you here is, of course, on the west side of the I-5. And you're going to have this community down here called Raspberry Park. It's a pretty large community. And then also there's another community over here which has that condensed feel, meaning that the yards are going to be, smaller, anywhere from, some of them might be around 5,500 square feet, up to, if you're lucky in some of these subdivisions, around 9,000 square foot lots. Over here, you're going to get a little bit bigger. This is where they started sardining them in a little bit. You can tell just by the graph here. And then as you're looking over here on the, the east side of I-5, there's a few subdivisions that I want to be sure to draw your attention to. One of them is Merriweather, which Merriweather is this whole area over here. I'm going to kind of zoom in here. So all of these were put in a large, vast amount. And then, of course, we have Riverbend over here as well. And then, of course, we have, some other little subdivisions in here. But all of these are where you're going to find the close-knit, suburb feel. Okay, so here, so you're going to see when you're looking at Woodland that it's very vast. So because it's more vast here, this is where you're going to have all those homes that have more acreage coming into this area. And so that condensed suburban feel is all going to be within the city there. So that is the housing, which then brings me to the last item, which is always fun. Let's talk about the lovely fun activities and things to wrap this one up. This whole area is woodland, but you're going to see that it is the main gateway going to some pretty wonderful places. And first and foremost, the Lewis River is right on running through Woodland, in which if you're a fisherman, you're going to love. It has fishing well, I don't want to say all year round, but I'm sure that there's going to be better seasons than others, but you can always fish in the Lewis River. Woodland has a great little gateway to lots of different activities that I know I've taken my family to, and part of that would be like going to Lake Merwin and on the way into also what is called Swift Reservoir. And so if you're wanting to get away for some fun activities, then you're going to take Highway 503 here, and you're going to be able to do some boating and camping on Lake Merwin, which is about 10 miles from Woodland, or you can go on to Swift Reservoir, and over there it is, that's about 28 miles from Woodland. And then if you want to go on, which is really fun, me and my kids, we went to see the Ape Caves. And so the Ape Caves are it's one of the third longest lava tubes in North America, being at around 2.5 miles long. And so you can walk all the way through it, and I've walked all the way through it. I had a little bit of a kink in my neck because I was looking down too much, because it's dark in there. Even though you have a headlamp, it's still really dark. And that's about 38 miles from Woodland. So, you know, in Woodland, there's a lot of fishing. There's tons of parks that you can hike, lots of trails that you can go to. There's beautiful lakes that you can take your boats, your motorboats, and you can either, and that you can camp on. So you can take those motorboats. Some people take canoes, people take paddle boards, and they really enjoy the lakes that are out here, which you can access through Woodland. You can also access through the inlet areas through La Center as well. But if you live in Woodland, you're even closer. So anyway, Woodland as a whole is a great, I feel like, for affordability, being able to have a little bit slower pace, but still being close enough to some main shopping areas, still being close to, you know, having your own little stores close in town without having to go 20 minutes into Vancouver, really does make Woodland ideal.